everyone. This is Kylene Paris, Director of Strategic Initiatives and Professional Education for the School of Engineering. I just wanted to say a quick hello and thank you for considering the opportunity to work with professional education and instructional designers to go through the program Quality Matters to deliver high quality content. It's your participation in this program, it really is invaluable to the school, not only for certainly educating the students that are within the program and making sure that they receive the highest of quality opportunities with content that they're receiving, but also it's certainly a revenue generator for the school and your department. And with that, the best foot we put forward with these types of opportunities with our online course development, I think that certainly the better off we will be as far as attracting students into the program. So for that, I thank you. Please consider my team a resource to you, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Thanks so much.
My name is Arash Zagi. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering. 2 years ago, I worked with CETL to redesign one of my graduate level classes, Bridge Engineering, to fully online class.
Hi, my name is Desmond McCaffrey, and I'm the director of UConn Online. I oversee eCampus. eCampus is the group that supports UConn faculty in the design and development of high-quality online courses. As part of a negotiated collective bargaining agreement with AAUP, the university has developed an intellectual property agreement and a process through which faculty can be compensated for designing and developing online courses. For full-time faculty, that means that they would be paid $7,500 upon completion of the process. So in our perfect world, we really like to see a 5-month window. We often say 4 to 6 months. If 4 months is certainly doable, 3 months is a little uncomfortable. Anything less than 3 months is really not good for anybody. So we do strongly encourage faculty to be thoughtful about this ahead of time. Department heads to be thoughtful about this ahead of time. We have really expanded the online week collectively, engineering and eCampus together over the last 5 years. It's actually kind of incredible the number of courses that have come out. And what's not incredible though is the quality. And I would just say that, as engineers, we often hear engineers tell us this process you've talked about, this alignment, this reverse engineering, it is very intuitive to engineers. It's a very similar process to what they would go through in a project for an engineering project. So I have seen that the light bulb go off a lot quicker in the meetings with engineers. And I say, oh, I get this. Yeah. And then we're going to design, instead of designing an airplane or designing a bridge, we're designing a course, but it's design. And so for us, I think whenever I have a meeting, I enjoy meeting with all faculty, but whenever we meet with engineers, it's very clear that they see a systematic process. And once they realize that that's something that will help them very intentionally build out a course, it really makes for a very rich experience. So we like to reverse engineer that process. We actually have a blueprint in place before we do anything. And so that's the process we use for our curriculum development. We really would sit down with the faculty member and go through our needs analysis process, asking them questions about who the students are, how does this course fit into the curriculum, who are they as faculty, what is their experience, how comfortable are they using Husky CT, have they ever developed curriculum before. A lot of that information is very helpful for us to set the expectations moving ahead and give them guidance and develop them so they're able to go through the process. If it's part of a program, we certainly want the course program or the course outcomes to be aligned with program outcomes. So if it's a Master's of Engineering specialty area, we want to make sure that all of those courses fit together. So we might look at the outcomes across all of the courses. We normally do this within a Google Doc or a Word document, and we map the whole thing out. So we'll say this is our learning objective, this is our assessment, and then once we know what that is, we say what is the material that we need to give the students? What are the activities we need to have the students participate in? And then we work with the faculty member to build that content out. The faculty member creates what they need to create. We help them put it into the course, and the course is built. But we're not done yet. As we're teaching the course, we want to look at the course and make sure our plan worked. So there's an iterative process where we say, after the course has been taught, how did it go? Where did we meet the mark? And where did we miss the mark? And what do we need to change for next time? And so we'll work with faculty in an iterative way through the next time that course is developed. We'll go back, we'll look at our course map, we'll tweak it, We'll maybe add things or take things out and work with the faculty to improve it.
We have a lot of other resources available to us these days that we can use to improve the quality of learning of our students. CETL was critical to inform me of those resources and guiding me to question each step, each decision that I was taking during the redesign of the course, and reminding me of other resources that I may be able to use rather than just like recording my lectures. Keeping an open mind and listening to them, because they're professionals and they know a lot about instructional design, theories of learning, how students can be effectively engaged during the class, and how the interactions between the instructor and also students can be improved in an online environment. So keeping an open mind, listening to them, working with them, and trying, a collaborative relationship with them, I think, is the most productive approach.
We would rather sit with faculty and transform what they do, whether they're a good lecturer, a good facilitator, or someone who develops really good group activities. All of those activities, if they're dependent on a face-to-face environment, need to be transformed in some way to be the best they can be. So we ask faculty, trust the process. This process I've described of instructional design, if we follow it, it opens up the answers for us. But if we follow those timelines, we know that we'll be able to get everything done in time. The instructional designer will be most effective with you as well, because they're often working with 5 or 6 other faculty at the same time. So the instructional designer is really an expert in curriculum development and applying best practices and research and educational theory to any learning environment. But in this case, we're talking about an online learning environment. So they've seen a range of solutions brought to bear. And if you were to say, this is my learning outcome, this is what I want students to be able to do, I might be able to present to you 5 or 6 different ideas for activities that you wouldn't have thought of. And so it's a resource for you to really think through all the opportunities and make it the best resource it can be. Teaching online, also, there are a number of variations from teaching in person. There are things we kind of take for granted, we just do when we teach in person, especially if we've done it for years. But teaching online, there are elements that if we don't think about and go through systematically with an expert, we risk missing. We walk through it with them and point out all the pitfalls or things that they need to be cautious about, again, to help them make it a more smooth process to be more successful overall.
I had doubts and hesitations. Started realizing that I can do a lot more. I have access to many non-traditional resources that I don't have access to during a traditional face-to-face lecture. This online platform allows instructors to benefit from a lot of other resources that are available that we cannot typically benefit from in our traditional lecture setting. So in traditional lecture setting, we are limited to whiteboard, maybe PowerPoint presentations, and maybe like we show a couple of like videos in our classes, but it's not truly integrated. And online platform allows you to search for material that are professionally developed, produced by professionals, by society, by professional societies, and they're publicly available. You can integrate them into the course design, and those significantly benefit students.
Or if you're teaching it distance learning because of the COVID virus, and you have an entire course that you've built out very systematically and thought about, faculty suddenly have this realization, wait, I have an entire course that's designed to be online. When I teach in person, I can pull down one module or one activity or one video or more, and I suddenly have many more resources available to me than I would have before. They look at the face-to-face course differently now. They look at the planning process. They look at the curriculum through a new lens, and it allows them independently, without our input, to think about how they would plan their course and develop their course in a better way. We give them the tools to develop an online course, and when they leave us, they are better capable of developing, designing and teaching in any mode of delivery, whether it's online, face-to-face, or distance learning.
I think the challenges are mainly related to keeping students engaged. Things are changing though. I have noticed that students are becoming more and more familiar with the online platform and remote learning. But there are mechanisms, there are ways to make sure that we keep them engaged through meaningful discussions and active participation of the instructors. And if they feel that the instructor is yet available, can have like uh, close interactions. I mean, not face to face, through discussion boards, through messaging boards, through maybe breakout sessions. Then they realize that it's not much actually different. I mean, because at the end they are here to learn. The flexibility that an online course, online platform offers is significant, is very unique, and that allows us to reach out to a population that's difficult to bring into our classes. Flexibility that this online platform presents to them. For example, like if they know that they are going to have a heavy work week, they can do a lot of the work for the course during the weekend or in their free time, and give themselves a head start essentially for the activities of different modules of the work. So
our fundamental set of standards is called Quality Matters, and it's a research-based set of standards. It's been around for, I'll probably misstate this now. It's at least 16 years. And they've gone through several iterations. One of the reasons we really like it is that it is research-based. And as new research comes out, the Quality Matters team builds that research into the process and into the rubric. The evidence shows that if we have learning objectives aligned to assessments and we make sure those things are tied together, that the students will learn better, they'll be assessed more accurately, and you as the faculty member will be happier.
the course was evaluated after it was designed based on Quality Matters standards, and the feedback we received, there were parts that we needed to make enhancements for clarity, for accessibility, and so the first round of enhancement happened when it was evaluated by CETL. I went through the material and made sure like those issues that caused confusion the first offering, they are addressed.
So there's an iterative process where we say, after the course has been taught, how did it go? Where did we meet the mark? And where did we miss the mark? And what do we need to change for next time? And so we'll work with faculty in an iterative way through the next time that course is developed. We'll go back, we'll look at our course map, we'll tweak it, we'll maybe add things or take things out and work with the faculty to improve it. At the end of the course, we look at all of those moments and anything else, again, to do that iterative review process. Then we go back through the course and we revise it a second time. But we love nothing more than having faculty come back and meet with us afterwards, whether it's a year, 2 or 3 years later, to talk about the course and to continue to make improvements to it.
Now I am intentional about forming groups that we have a balanced mixture of our graduate students and professionals in those groups. And I can see how they can contribute meaningfully. For example, like our graduates tends to do, for example, maybe more advanced theoretical stuff, and professional students who are more experienced and they're working now, they can bring in a lot more in terms of like practical aspects of the work, and the discussions between them and the way they can help each other. It's amazing. The interaction is critical. I think that's very important, that it is intentional and it is well formulated and integrated in the course. And we have discussion forums that students essentially they submit their work, they evaluate each other's work, and through that they learn a lot from each other, because they can find some of the problems by comparing their work to other students in their group. And I monitor these discussion boards, and when I see that it is critical that I give some input, or there is something that I realize that everyone is missing, or if there's any fundamental issue, I make sure that in a timely fashion I jump in, I give feedback.
We will find the right process and the right product to create the course materials depending on what you provide for us. So if a faculty member says they want to create video, after going through the process, they realize video will be a significant component, then we might go through, talking to ed tech. Some faculty can come to us with their own content. They want to create their own videos using their own materials. Generally at the university, though, we like to use a university-supported product. In terms of video specifically, Kaltura would be the best bet. If there's a video on YouTube, YouTube has a very rigorous process of vetting their content, and generally they overdo it. So if it's on YouTube, it's a pretty good bet that has been vetted, and you can point to it, and you're not breaking any copyright. Anything that's available on a public website that's not password protected, generally that's a good safe bet that you can use that. So faculty are encouraged to think it through and make sure they are following copyright guidelines as much as possible. We're not experts or lawyers, but we have a pretty good idea for some of the black and white areas of what is and what is not copyright permissible. And then we can talk to the library or some other documents we have faculty walk through that help them decide whether or not something is within fair use and help provide them with guidelines. We ask that all faculty, regardless, go through either what we call Exploring Online Learning or Preparing for Distance Education. Exploring Online Learning is a 2-week course. It is designed specifically to get faculty up to speed on actually, one, what it's like to be a student in an online environment, because we ask them to enroll in the course. It's fully asynchronous. They interact with their colleagues, and we are the teachers or the facilitators of this process. So faculty understand what it's like to be a student in that online course, but they also learn about quality matters, and they learn about some best practices and principles of online teaching and learning. They actually come out of the process at the other end. The final project is creating an action plan for how they will plan and design a course. So when they walk out of preparing for distance education with that action plan and then sit down with an instructional designer, they're ahead of the game. They've already thought about mapping their content, and it makes it a lot easier for both parties to be involved. I would encourage faculty to take any of the workshops that are available in terms of principles of instructional design, which is that process of aligning your objectives, assessments, and activities. And that principles course is available for anyone to take. And through CETL, we offer, again, a number of courses around the difference between hybrid, blended, flipped, and online courses, getting started with online teaching. There's a number of resources available to faculty. And if they're not interested in doing workshops, I also encourage faculty, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to talk one-on-one with anyone whenever I'm available to make sure that they understand exactly what they would do to develop an online course.